Larson surveyed his empty desk, frustration mounting. It was 2 in the afternoon, and for the first time, he had nothing to do. As a draftsman at a manufacturing plant, it was highly unusual for him to be so idle. With no projects on his plate, he decided to check in with Frank Reynolds, the plant engineer. "Hey Frank," Tom began, "I'm out of work. Anything I can tackle?" Frank looked concerned. "Nope, it seems the company is tightening its belt. The economy's not helping, even with low interest rates. There's no news of new projects or machinery. If you've got nothing to do, why don't you take the rest of the day off?" Tom agreed, feeling uneasy. At home, he decided to surprise his wife, Natalie, by preparing dinner. Natalie was pleasantly surprised when she arrived and saw the meal in progress. Over dinner, Tom shared his concerns about the slow pace at work. Natalie mentioned, "Dr. Rachel told me Frank mentioned there hasn't been any talk about the usual summer shutdown for maintenance. It seems there's something going on that he's not aware of." Natalie, Rachel's chief surgical nurse and longtime friend, knew Frank well since he was Rachel's husband. They were all close. The next morning, an announcement over the public address system called for an immediate meeting. Tom and Frank attended, where it was revealed that the plant would be relocating to another state. It would close in 30 days, but employees would receive 60 days' wages. Tom was stunned by the news. Back in Frank's office, they discussed their options. Frank promised to give Tom an excellent recommendation for any job application. They also talked about the recent closures of 3 other local plants, noting the high competition for jobs. The month flew by as Tom helped move machinery to the new plant. On his last day, Frank shook his hand and wished him well, promising to stay in touch. Tom had applied to every plant and engineering firm within 20 miles, but prospects seemed slim. He spent the first week at home, playing computer games and waiting for job calls. By the second week, Natalie told him, "Since you're home all day, you could do some cleaning around here." "It's your house too." Tom retorted, "Do I look like a maid? Housework is for women, not men." Natalie was furious and left for work. At the office, Rachel noticed Natalie's unusual mood and asked about it. Natalie explained the argument, and Rachel suggested that Tom might do some cleaning to make amends. Meanwhile, Tom searched the yellow pages for cleaning services, but only found businesses that handled industrial or retail spaces, not private homes. This setback made it harder to win back Natalie's favor. That night, when Natalie returned home, she found that nothing had been done. Frustrated, she resolved that Tom needed to make better use of his free time. At dinner, she said, "I don't think it's too much to ask for you to try doing some cleaning. You have the entire day. I don't expect you to clean all day, but you could at least do something." Tom responded, "I told you this morning, do I look like a maid? Didn't you get the message?" Natalie shot him a stern look, and Tom knew it would be a long night. The next morning, the conversation repeated itself, and Natalie left for work, exasperated by his refusal to help. While venting to Rachel, Rachel suggested, "It sounds simple to me. Just dress him as a maid and make him responsible for cleaning from now on." By noon, Natalie had purchased a full maid's outfit and women's undergarments for Tom. Although she found it extreme, she felt she had no other options. Unable to find shoes in his size, she recalled an ad for an adult store that sold women's shoes up to size 15. With the help of a clerk, she found a pair of black heels with 5.5-inch heels. Although she didn't want such high heels, it was the only option available. That afternoon, Natalie was in high spirits when Rachel asked about her mood. Natalie confidently replied that Tom would be cleaning the house the next day. At dinner, Natalie said, "This is the last time I'm asking. Will you please do some cleaning tomorrow, just as a favor?" Tom retorted, "Drop it. I've told you before, and you don't seem to get it. The house looks fine. Why are you pushing me to clean it?" Natalie replied, "I prefer a clean house. I'm not asking for anything impossible, just a little help. You're home all day, and I don't have the time to do it myself at night. So, will you do it or not? Tom said, you know how I feel about it. The next morning, Natalie woke up an hour earlier than usual. Using her nursing skills, she administered a sedative to Tom. He didn't react. The drug, used during surgeries to keep patients still while allowing them to assist, would help her with her plan. She removed his pajamas, glued chest forms to his chest, and fitted him with a bra. Although the bra was tighter than expected, it worked. She then slipped on panties, followed by thigh-high black stockings, a short slip, and finally the maid's dress. She completed the outfit with the heels, securing them as he began to stir. When Tom woke up, he felt disoriented. As he swung his feet off the bed, he was shocked to find himself in a dress. Confused, he called out for Natalie. She entered the room and said, "Good morning, Michelle. Ready for the day?" Tom asked, "What is going on? How did I end up in this dress?" Natalie responded, "It's simple, Michelle. You kept insisting you didn't look like a maid, so I made you look like one. Now you can clean and feel right about it because you not only look like a maid, but you are one." He was astonished. Struggling to maintain his balance in the heels, he made his way to the bathroom, almost stumbling. His urgency drove him to totter across the floor, while Natalie watched with a satisfied smile as he awkwardly navigated the hallway in his skirt. Natalie went to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. As she set the meal on the table, Tom entered and asked about the situation. Natalie replied, "You kept insisting you didn't look like a maid, so I made sure you do. You'll be doing the cleaning today, and I expect to see results. Those shoes were the only ones that fit, and they lock on your feet. If you want them off by bedtime, you'll need to clean thoroughly. Start with the living room, then the kitchen, and after that, tackle the dining area, bathrooms, and bedrooms. Got it, or should I toss the key to your shoes?" Tom agreed, understanding the stakes. Natalie hummed happily all the way to work. Tom began with the living room, where his meticulous approach turned it into a major task. By mid-afternoon, he finished and moved on to the kitchen. Cleaning the kitchen was quicker, and by the time Natalie got home, the counters and cupboards gleamed. Natalie was thrilled with the kitchen's transformation. Tom mentioned he hadn't had time for the floors, but promised to handle them the next day. Natalie was impressed with the living room as well. It looked better than ever, with all the knickknacks shining. She was genuinely pleased with his effort. As Tom returned from the bathroom, Natalie noticed he was walking more steadily in the heels, though his hips swayed slightly. At dinner, Natalie said, "The living room looks fantastic. I've never seen it look so good. You did an amazing job. I'm really proud of you. Was it that bad?" Tom responded, "It wasn't too bad, but these shoes are unbearable. Once I started, I got caught up in making everything look perfect. It took until the afternoon, and I didn't even get around to lunch." After dinner, Natalie unlocked his shoes, and he walked around in his stockings for the rest of the evening. He enjoyed a relaxing bath before bed, reflecting that cleaning hadn't been as unpleasant as he expected. Natalie's praise made it worthwhile. That night, they made love, and Natalie continued to commend him. He fell asleep feeling content. The next morning, Tom woke up at 6. Instead of going back to sleep, he got dressed in his maid's uniform. He cringed at the click of the heels, but decided to ask Natalie for the key later. He prepared breakfast, aiming to have it ready by the time Natalie woke up at 7. When she arrived, he presented the meal with a flourish. Overjoyed, Natalie felt a deep affection for him. Tom said he planned to finish the kitchen and dining area that day, and if time allowed, tackle the main bathroom. Natalie agreed and headed to work. At work, Rachel asked Natalie if Tom had started cleaning yet. Natalie shared all the details, and Rachel expressed interest in seeing the results. Natalie invited her to stop by on her way home, and Rachel agreed. Meanwhile, Tom scrubbed the kitchen floor until it sparkled like new. He then tackled the dining area, which took less time than expected. After a light lunch, he cleaned both bathrooms, finishing with half an hour to spare before Natalie's return. His legs were aching. Recalling a pick Natalie had used for the salt shaker holes, he grabbed it and attempted to unlock his shoes. The first one released with a click. He removed it and tackled the second one, which also popped open. Smirking, he muttered, "Well, look at you." When he heard the garage door, he quickly put the shoes back on. Natalie entered, impressed by the spotless kitchen and dining area. Tom mentioned that he had also cleaned the bathrooms. Natalie inspected the main bath, which gleamed like it belonged in a magazine. She was thoroughly impressed. After announcing she was going to change clothes, Natalie left Tom in the living room. The doorbell rang, and though Tom was reluctant to answer, he did so since Natalie was unavailable. It was Rachel. Tom greeted her and invited her inside. Rachel entered and scrutinized the room with a critical eye. "You really cleaned this place up," like Natalie said. "I haven't seen a room this spotless in ages. You must have a talent for cleaning." Tom thanked her just as Natalie returned. Natalie showed Rachel the kitchen and bathrooms. They then settled back in the living room, where Tom was seated in his easy chair. Rachel remarked, "My house could use a cleaning like this. Can I hire you?" Natalie interjected, "You might not be able to afford him. He's quite pricey." Rachel asked, "How much?" Natalie replied, $30 an hour. "I told you he's expensive." Rachel turned to Tom and asked, "Given that you know my house, how long would it take to clean it thoroughly?" Tom estimated, about 3 days. "Your house is much larger than ours, and I haven't finished ours yet, but I will by tomorrow." Rachel asked, "When can you start on my house?" Tom replied, "Probably next Monday through Wednesday." Rachel agreed, "You're hired. I'll see you at 7:30 next Monday morning." Natalie asked, "Can he wear slacks and a shirt? He hasn't been out in that dress." Rachel said, "For what I'm paying, I expect him in his uniform. I think he looks adorable in it." "Where did you get that full bib apron?" Natalie shared where she got it, and they chatted briefly before Rachel left. Natalie then began preparing supper. At dinner, Natalie said, "I didn't think she'd accept the $30 an hour rate. I should have asked you first." "I'm sorry." Tom responded, "It's fine. I'm actually surprised that I'll be making more per hour cleaning than I did as a draftsman. I can't believe it." Natalie said, "We'll need to get you some more sensible shoes, maybe with a little heel, but not too high." Tom agreed, that would be a huge relief. These are quite painful after a while. Natalie apologized for exposing him to Rachel in the maid's outfit. Tom reassured her it was okay. He was surprised that Rachel took his uniformed appearance so naturally. That evening, they went to a shoe store with Tom wearing one of Natalie's black knit dresses. He was amazed that, despite encountering a few people, no one seemed to notice he was a man in a dress. They found a pair of black pumps with a 2-inch heel, which Tom found surprisingly comfortable. Natalie mentioned she would speak to Rachel about allowing him to clean in slacks and a shirt. Tom advised against it, saying that given Rachel's payment, she deserved to get what she wanted. Natalie asked, "Do you enjoy wearing the uniform?" Tom replied, "Not really. But I see it as part of the job. It doesn't do anything for me, either intimately or otherwise. I just view it as a necessary uniform. I wouldn't mind wearing slacks and a shirt like I did in the office, but if the uniform helps convey cleanliness and efficiency, then I'm fine with it." Natalie said, "You're something else. I expected you to grumble about it, but you've managed to find a positive side in every situation. I'm really proud of you." The next evening, Natalie helped him remove the chest forms, and he spent 3 days back to his old self. On Sunday night, she reattached the chest forms so he wouldn't have to do it the next morning. When he woke up on Monday, he was ready to go at 7, and Natalie wished him luck. She couldn't help but second-guess whether she should have put him in the maid's outfit or invited Rachel over. Once something is done, it's hard to undo. Tom arrived at Rachel's house and was greeted warmly. Rachel showed him where the cleaning supplies were, and he mentioned he had his own equipment, except for a vacuum. Rachel showed him the vacuum, and he was set. She mentioned that Frank was away for the week, which relieved Tom, as he was glad Frank wouldn't see him in his uniform. Rachel also offered him chest implants at a special price, which made him blush and decline. Tom started with the living room, noting that despite their simple furniture, it was easy to clean. He finished early in the afternoon and moved on to the kitchen. By the time Rachel returned, she was thrilled with how well the kitchen and living room looked. She also asked him to check the office library due to its built-ins. While he was inspecting it, she called her neighbor Victoria Harper to come and see the cleaned rooms. Victoria was impressed and wanted Tom to clean her house as well. Although Rachel mentioned Tom's rate was $35 an hour, Victoria was eager to book him. They scheduled Victoria's cleaning for the following Monday to Wednesday. Once Victoria left, Rachel burst into laughter, revealing that she managed to get Tom a $5 raise. She noted that Victoria's competitive nature drove her to hire Tom simply because she didn't want Rachel to have something she couldn't. Rachel admired Victoria's legal skills, but found her lacking in worldly matters. Tom thanked Rachel for the additional job and began to contemplate starting his own cleaning business. He thought about the challenges and paperwork involved and questioned if it was worth pursuing. The next day, Tom finished the office library and main bath. Rachel had Carol Harvey over to see the clean house, and Carol wanted Tom's services as well. Tom agreed to take on Carol's job after Victoria's, even working on Saturday if necessary. Carol mentioned her husband could cover additional costs by charging his business clients more if needed. That night, Tom placed an ad in the newspaper seeking help and asked interested parties to call on Thursday and Friday mornings. He informed Natalie of his plan to start a house cleaning business. Within 3 weeks, Tom had hired 4 full-time and 5 part-time employees. He trained them in his own home, set up uniforms featuring a maid with a halo and angel wings, and incorporated the business. Natalie was named vice president on the incorporation papers, and Victoria joined the board of directors. Tom also hired his former boss, Frank, as manager, tasked with securing wholesale supplies and earning a share of the profits alongside his salary. In just 3 months, they built up a clientele of 62 regular customers, plus many who required cleaning services every 2 weeks or monthly. Tom was now dressing in top-notch suits and enjoying his success. He visited his pastor to offer free cleaning services for elderly people in need, arranging for his team to clean their homes or apartments when they couldn't manage it themselves or afford a professional. After 9 months in business, Angel Maids Incorporated was honored as New Business of the Year. Tom received the plaque from the Chamber of Commerce with gratitude. The surprise came next. Due to his charitable efforts and the essential service he provided, his company was also named Business of the Year. In his acceptance speech, Tom said, "This business idea was born out of the loss of my job as a draftsman. I owe everything to my wife, who put me in a maid's outfit. I struggled to find someone to clean our home, and soon I had more houses to clean than time to handle them all. One of my clients called me her angel maid, which inspired the name. I believe every business should contribute to its community, so we offer services to those who can't clean for themselves. This is the most rewarding part of our work because we meet the most wonderful people. I accept this award and challenge each business here to find someone in need and offer your services. Thank you." The audience gave him a standing ovation. On the way home, Tom turned to Natalie and said, "Dear, I owe all these honors to you. If it weren't for you putting me in that maid's outfit, I'd probably still be doing nothing worthwhile. Thank you, and more importantly, I love you."